Hey, how's it going, guys? This is ZedEye here. So I wanted to kind of make a little bit of a clarification due to my video that I've published yesterday regarding Gotham Knights. So I was talking a lot about, a few issues that I was having within this game. Specifically, I was talking about its combat and the gameplay. Now, initially I said in the previous video that the combat, well, the gameplay itself, it looks kind of stiff, it looks kind of clunky in a lot of ways, of course. But of course, that's a little bit of an observation on my part that I was taking a look at. At first, initially I was thinking like, okay, maybe I'm just like overthinking this a little bit, maybe I'm being a little bit too critical. But, a day passed by, a lot of other people, shared their thoughts on this and what they thought about this game as well. And, a few people that were at least being, a little bit of critical on this game, yeah, they said the same thing. Like, something is up with this gameplay. It just doesn't seem that kind of impactful. Again, we cannot make this kind of comparison since Arkham series games, it's not being developed by the same studio, but yet again, it has a similar principle. Mind you, even if it is a Batman game, doesn't necessarily needs to be, same thing again and again. I get that, I truly do. But what it strives to do here is kind of different, and I don't know if it's a good different. Mind you, not a few things I want to mention, a few negatives as well. It's the graphics, the quality of the game. Now, in yesterday's video, I said like the graphics in terms of the visuals, it does look good. And looking at it now, yes, I think it still does look good. But a lot of other people started speculating and saying, does it actually look good enough comparing this that, because mind you, right, Xbox One and also PlayStation 4 version of these games were cancelled. So the only way to receive this game, Gotham Knights, it would be on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series and PC. So can we really determine that's actually worth it? Is it actually like a substantial leap? So because they're abandoning the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One versions of this game, maybe it makes things easier for them to develop and to make it playable for the PlayStation 5 and also the Xbox Series and PC, so they don't, like, the developers don't actually have to worry about the PlayStation 4 and also Xbox One, because obviously they will have to downgrade something. And we don't know, of course, as well, at least to my knowledge, I don't believe that this game was confirmed. It was a 60 FPS or 30 FPS, either one. But now, since it is a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and a PC game, we definitely would be expecting this game to have a 60 FPS. Even if it does not, at least having an option, that would be definitely nice. Okay, so what I'm mentioning in here, does this actually look graphically impressive that it obviously goes up to the par of PlayStation 5 games and Xbox Series games? And I just, looking at it, no, obviously no. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna doubt anything in this case. Yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of you that were saying like this just does not look like a graphical leap that a lot of people would be expecting, since it was also abandoned with its PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One versions. So you would expect that they actually will be concentrating purely on the higher end graphics terms, and so make this game even more beautiful. But unfortunately, it just does not seem that's the case. Now, regarding back on track regarding of the topic of clunking gameplay, I still feel the same. I'm looking at the gameplay, I'm looking, I already rewatched a few times, and I feel that obviously it's not going to be in similar scope as the, Arkham games. Arkham games with being as a Batman and of course one character. Now instead here we have 4 different characters, right? So of course, being as a Batman, he has his own fighting styles, but all for 4 different types of characters. Obviously, they're gonna have their own unique styles. Red Hood, as an example, actually a lot of people mentioned that his gameplay looks boring. It's just, what does he do? Every time he takes a shot, he stands there in whatever the position, and he takes couple of shots that they're not even lethal towards the enemies, but yet they do somewhat of a damage. Perhaps it seems like even very low amount of damage. It's like you'd be wondering, was it really worth it? Like using this character just for an outcome of having a low amount of damage. And so a lot of people started saying, okay, I think I would rather be playing as a Nightwing because like with his acrobatics and stuff, like he shows off and looks fantastic, mind you, but even though there are still issues within that too. Like I mentioned, right, like his gameplay seems to be slow, or perhaps some kind of punches that he performs or kicks that he does don't feel impactful, even though on the screen it clearly shows like you have landed a hit. There's always these weird sparkles and stuff like that going on. It makes sense, it's a game, but yet when you try to visualize these things and or try to feel, that just doesn't necessarily give you that kind of outcome. But again, it's a different story when you're watching the gameplay and rather playing it. This case I've actually experienced with Death Stranding, right? Death Stranding, comparing that. Again guys, I'm not trying to make a comparison between Gotham Knights and Death Stranding because that just would not make any goddamn sense. What I'm trying to say is that Death Stranding's gameplay visually, while looking at it through YouTube or any other media, it seems very boring, and it's just like, why would you be interested within this game? But when you're playing it, now that's a different story, because like a lot of people, and myself included, absolutely adored gameplay of Death Stranding. It's slow, it's not clunky for sure, at least because I got used to it, but maybe that's just the thing. Maybe we're just not used to it. Watching the gameplay of Gotham Knights and just made me think of these things, and as such, maybe at first when we try it out for ourselves and then perhaps we'll get used to it, then obviously we're not gonna have these thoughts within our minds, and so we're not gonna be kind of bashing on this game. But still, after everything, this gameplay, and I hope that actually lives up to the hype that a lot of people are expecting it to be, at least to the similar degree as this Arkham games. And I don't know if it will. I just do not know, because everything that is showcased here doesn't seem or doesn't scream, at least, of a quality. Again, that's a kind of a, that's a kind of controversial kind of topic as well. I cannot make that kind of a comparison, can I? Like I said, different studio and perhaps even a different vision, even though similar characters, if you know what I mean. Still, it's gonna be interesting to find out more, right? We still have, 5 months, about 5 months to go from now till its release on October, at the end of October. So of course, clunky or slow gameplay, they can still be improved or perhaps speed up a little bit. I feel like in terms of gameplays that we've seen from Red Hood and also Nightwing, they are slow. It just does look like that. But maybe when you're playing the game, it may seem just fine. I do not know, of course. But of course, making a comparison like with Batman, himself in the series, Arkham series games, yeah, you can clearly see that the difference is there, and you can clearly see something is wrong here. Something doesn't seem right. Again, guys, that's all I wanted to, have a little bit of a discussion about this. I'm just, very curious to see what you guys got in minds as well. Like, what do you think about this gameplay, of the very recent gameplay, mind you? Is it a kind of a downgrade, more or less? Like, I kind of want to see now a Batgirl's and also Robin's gameplay, because we actually have the very first gameplay presentation from these characters, and I want to make a comparison and see for myself, like, was there something done to the gameplay that doesn't seem that it's any good now? And it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be interesting to make that kind of comparison, because it will be warranted, what it was before to what it is now. But either way, tell me down in the comments, love to read it. Alright, like and subscribe, see you guys all, and have a wonderful day.